In this video, I'm going to share my DeFi and airdrop strategy on Solana for April 2024. Welcome back to Dynamo DeFi. My name is Patrick. As a reminder, nothing in this video is financial advice. This is purely intended to be for educational purposes. Now let's get into it. First off, high level, what's going on with Solana? How is the chain doing? And are there still opportunities here? And the chain's doing pretty well, at least if you look back from when we first started talking about it on this channel in September. TVL has grown from around $500 million up to nearly $8 billion. Volume has skyrocketed. There's been days where Solana volume has surpassed Ethereum, and it actually had a peak in March, and then it's cooled off a bit, but is still light years ahead of where it was months ago. And all this activity has caused some congestion on the chain. That being said, I do think that my understanding is that probably those issues may get resolved sooner than later. And I still think that there's opportunities because there's a pretty clear demand for this sort of fast, cheap transactions that Solana offers. That being said, I will say that I think the airdrop farming opportunities are less good than they were 2 months or even 1 month ago. And part of that is because many of the top protocols are now starting to do airdrops. Camino, the largest lending platform and one of the largest platforms, period, on Solana, now has their Genesis drop site open. You can't claim yet, but as of the time making this video, you can check your allocation. So the season 1 allocations, those are set. There may be opportunities to do future seasons, season 2, but with most of these things, the Genesis is usually the best drop. That being said, I do still think that Camino is one of the best places to yield farm on Solana. If you're still holding Sol and you want to earn passive income with it, then you can use their leveraged yield loop strategies and earn over 20% on Sol without risking impermanent loss, since all these liquid staking tokens should be pretty consistently pegged to Sol. But the airdrop opportunity is not going to be as good as it was. Parcel, the perps trading platform, huge fan of Parcel on this channel. I interviewed the founder recently. Their points trilogy leaderboard is live. So if you've been farming Parcel, if you've been watching these videos where we talk about providing liquidity on there, check your points allocation. You may, maybe you got a boost for loyalty, and you can check it using the link that I'll post in the description with this tweet. But that's another one that, I still think it's a really cool application, but the allocation for the initial airdrop seems to be mostly determined at this point. You have Wormhole, which is a leading bridge for Solana. That airdrop was claimable last week. So again, be sure to check for this. Use your Solana wallet, use your EVM wallets, use your Cosmos wallets. If you've been bridging, you may be surprised by your allocation. I was on some of my burner wallets I've only used once or twice. I had a pretty good allocation. So check out Wormhole. And then Tensor, the leading NFT application on Solana. We've been talking about Tensor forever. They did their airdrop just a couple days ago as well, their TNSR token. So basically, almost all these big protocols we've talked about have done their airdrops. The one exception is MarginFi. MarginFi was the leading lending platform on Solana. Now it's number 2 after Camino. And MarginFi has not done an airdrop yet. That being said, I am no longer as confident that they will. They've been doing a points program forever, so I personally thought that it was very likely. I had what I would consider for me to be a pretty large amount deposited on MarginFi. However, after this SEC news with Uniswap today, the one of the founders of MarginFi posted here, after today feels right to maximally push off any kind of token. We'll see what I can do internally to brick this. So that means that maybe the token may not be coming in the near future, and you can debate whether they were actually going to do one soon or whether they were always planning to put it off. But in one of the replies, the founder did say that they were about to announce a bunch of things, but don't care what happens anymore. So I don't know. Truthfully, this doesn't give me a lot of confidence that there's going to be an airdrop. It's their protocol. They don't have to do an airdrop if they don't want to. I don't understand what the points are going to be used for, if not an airdrop. Basically every other protocol has used them for one. That being said, I will be deploying most of the funds I had in MarginFi elsewhere, solely because the yield is all right, and on certain things like stablecoins, the yield is actually quite good. For example, 23% on USDC right now, a pretty good yield. Tough to beat that. That being said, if I'm looking to farm an airdrop and earn higher rewards with incentives, not totally convinced that this is the place to do it anymore. And it seems like a lot of people agree with me, because if you look at their total value locked, it's down 10% in the past day, even when most of these other Solana protocols are basically flat. And so given all of this, what am I still farming on Solana? A few things, and I'll go through them one by one. We've got Drift, which is a perp DEX on Solana. We have Jupiter, where you can provide liquidity for their JLP pool, and the rewards are, I think, honestly, incredible right now. There's Meteora. Meteora is a liquidity management / DEX platform built by the same team as Jupiter, and they likely still have an airdrop coming. And then there's Sanctum, and Sanctum's been growing quickly. Sanctum is a DEX and yield platform, as well as a liquid staking platform, and I think they're growing quickly because they're one of the few protocols left that is still very likely to do an airdrop. So let's look at each of these. First off, we've got Drift. Drift is on-chain perp and spot trading with leverage, and they've got a points program. They've hinted there's an announcement coming soon. May still be a chance to get in before then, either by trading, or if that's not your thing, you can lend out funds, you can market make, you can stake in the insurance fund. Keep in mind that many of these strategies you are exposed to, all these strategies are exposed to smart contract risk. Many of them you may also be exposed to risk. For example, if something goes wrong on the platform, if there's an exploit and the traders end up underwater. That being said, Drift has been around for a while, and at a minimum, the rewards for lending, for example, stablecoins on here, are pretty good. So I think that this is still a worthwhile opportunity. Moving on to Jupiter, the APY right now is incredible. JLP is the liquidity provider token for Jupiter's perp DEX, and perps have proven to be one of the most profitable businesses in DeFi. And this pool itself is comprised of a combination of Sol, ETH, Wrap BTC, and stablecoins, although it's currently mostly Sol. And so basically you're holding a basket of stablecoins and blue chips, and you're earning 50% yield. I think, this is pretty good, and this is something I'm interested in personally, even taking a little bit of profits into from my other things, because it's diversified across 3 of the major coins and stablecoins. There is, again, smart contract risk. There's the risk you're basically betting against traders. If the traders all start winning, then that could affect your position. But overall, I think that this is a pretty good yield opportunity on Solana. Next up, we have Meteora. Meteora is DEX and liquidity management. They are going to have a token, MET. And again, Meteora is built by the same team as Jupiter, so very, very strong team working on this. And so I think providing liquidity here is a good way to qualify for this future MET token. And the yields are all right? Some of them are better than others. For example, there's some stablecoin yields. This USDT, USDC is 6.37%. Not as good as some of the other ones we've looked at, but also not bad. Wrap BTC, USDC is very good at 30.5%. And so you can check this out, look for opportunities to earn yield here. With most of these platforms, what I like to do is I usually try to find ways to farm tokens that I'm holding anyways. And usually, occasionally I'll use a stablecoin farm. Usually I'm looking for pools that involve Sol. So these sorts of LST Sol pools, you're sacrificing a bit of yield by going into these compared to something like these Camino multiply pools. But this is probably the way that I'll be deploying to actually qualify for a Meteora MET airdrop. And then the final platform I'm using to farm on Solana is this Sanctum. Sanctum is a DEX combined with an LST swapping platform, combined with a liquid staking platform. And so, for example, here you can stake SOL for the Sanctum Infinity token, ticker INF, and the APY is 9.95%. And they call this the first infinite LST pool, and it's Sanctum's flagship product. Basically, it holds a basket of LSTs and earns staking yields and trading fees for people who are trading between them. So I think first off, I think that's a pretty cool offering, because they're trying to become like the liquidity hub for swapping between LSTs on Solana. And then they're actually allowing you to easily earn yield from people who are using that platform just by holding this INF token. So this is another place that I'll be deploying my SOL into. And one thing I'll note here is that they just announced a fundraising round of $6.1 million led by Dragonfly. And one thing that we know is that when protocols raise funds, it increases the chance of a future token, because those investors are going to want liquidity to exit at some point. If you enjoyed this video, if you want to learn more about airdrop strategies, DeFi strategies, and all that, be sure to check out my newsletter, dynamodefi.substack.com. It comes out every week with trends, on-chain analysis, farm of the week, and more. Again, that's dynamodefi.substack.com. And for more videos like this one, be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.